Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you the newest palette from Nomad Cosmetics. I did get this sent in PR and I should be able to get this video up before it launches on the 25th. I will have all of the information down below in my description box, but as you can probably tell from the outside of this palette, it's going to be a very colorful release, and this is called the Beachy and Peachy palette. It's very much a spring summer palette. I really like the color story of this. I think it is super fun, very bright, very colorful, very summery, and there's a lot you can do with this. There are a lot of colors that go together. You can play with like complementary tones. You can play with really anything you want in this palette. If you're not someone who likes colorful makeup, this palette is definitely not for you because you're not going to be able to get a neutral look out of this. But I'm excited to show you the looks that I've done. I've already done two. I'm going to do one today on camera with you. I haven't really decided what it is I want to do today. I really want to use this shade, but I just don't really know how to incorporate it into the rest of this and still have like shimmers that go nicely with it. Like in my head, I can't quite envision what it is that I want with it, except for just like wanting this all over my lid, but that would be kind of boring, so I'm not gonna do that. So we're gonna do something a little bit more interesting. And I've used, I would say, most of the shimmers in this palette. The only one I haven't really used is this one, which is a little like dark for what I would want to go with this. So I'm gonna have to think about what to do. I might not be able to use all of the shades in this palette just simply because the shades that I've already used, the kind of leftovers that I haven't dipped into, aren't really gonna go that well together. So we'll kind of see. I could also do something like these two in my crease and then just this one on my lid, which would be really pretty. But again, I have used this shade, so I wanted to sort of use some shades that I haven't used already, but I feel like that's just not really going to be realistic just because I have used so many of them that the leftovers are just, like I said, not going to be used on their own and make a cohesive look. So I'm just going to go ahead and prime my eyes and we'll see what I can come up with. I'm still using the eyeshadow primer from the Signature. I did do a video with her latest collection. I can link that in the corner if I remember. But so far I like this primer. It's just that I'm out of my Natasha Denona one, so I don't really want to buy another one until I've made up my mind on this one, if I really like this or not. I would say this one is a little bit thinner in formula than my Natasha Denona one, and it doesn't have as much coverage, but I do like how shades blend on top of it, and it is very much just like a concealer sort of consistency. I have had some creasing with this palette on this primer, but I don't know if it's the shadows in this palette or it's the primer. I don't usually tend to have too much creasing with Nomad shadows, so I kind of have to assume it's the eyeshadow primer that's doing that. But yeah, just whatever I say about these shadows, kind of take it a little bit with a grain of salt because I am using a different eyeshadow primer. But so far I haven't had any problems with the palette performing well, other than a little bit of creasing with the shimmers. But like I said, it could be the eyeshadow primer, it could be the shadows. I really don't know, but overall, I don't usually have too much creasing with Nomad shadows. So let's see, what do I want to do today? Maybe I'll just kind of go with what I'm wearing, which is honestly very boring. I'm just wearing a white tank top with some jeans and I have this silk scarf on. So maybe we can do something that matches a little bit. I can link this down below. I got it on Amazon and I've been really into like little scarf thingies lately. I think they're just so cute. So let's see, there is a little bit of yellow in this, so I definitely could go in this direction and do like the greens and the yellows. There's not really any green in here though, but that's okay. It doesn't have to completely match. Maybe I'll just kind of go with what I want to go with. Like maybe that's just what I'll do. I mean, that's usually probably a good idea. And I haven't used this green either, so I'm just gonna do these two in my crease. I know, very boring, and all of my looks are going to be pretty similar, like shape-wise, but you know what? I don't care. I'm also in dire need of washing my brushes. I'm just wiping one off on the towel in front of me here because it wasn't clean, let's just put it that way. So I'm going to take the shade called Far From Normal, which is this beautiful chartreusey yellow shade. I just really want this on my eyes. When I swatched it, I was like, ooh, that is so pretty. Why haven't I used that yet? So that's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna do that. Oh, that is very pretty. That actually leans more like a warm tone yellow than like a greeny yellow, which I was sort of hoping because I don't have a lot of, ooh, that is so pigmented. I don't have a lot of these yellows that actually show up like this kind of yellow on my my skin tone. I do like about this eyeshadow primer though that it does seem to be more of like a neutrally base, and my Natasha Denona one leans a little bit like pinkish, I would say. I'm not really completely sure if that's the case, but I do find that red shadows lean very pink on it, so I do feel like it does have a bit of a pink undertone to it. And this one might actually be leaning a little bit more neutral, which would be good for the shadows that I'm using, because that way they'll show up a little bit more sort of true to color. This is such a pretty yellow shade. Yeah, I really like that. I'm only doing this in the front of my lid here because I do want to do the green in the outer corner. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's really pretty. So I'm going to switch to another brush, and I'm going to take the shade called Key Lime Time. That is a really tough one. That is a tongue twister. Okay, I'm going to use that on my Sigma. What is this? E42. It's just a small blending brush, which is clean, which is why I'm using it. And I'm just going to basically pack that on the outer corner of my eye, as well as blend it into that yellow shade. I don't want to add like too much of this, and I do want this to be a very light, like sort of springy, summery look. So I'm just going to do that basically like right there, and then I'll probably just do the yellow shimmer on my lid. I might actually, you know what, maybe I'll just do like sort of an all shimmer look with this and layer a shimmer over this as well, because I do have a shade in here that's very, very similar. That's a really, really fun color combination. Very summery, which is exactly what I'm going for. And I like that all of the looks I've done with this palette, even though shape-wise they've been pretty much the same, have been very different like color-wise. So yeah, I do think that this is a palette that you can really do a lot with if it's a color story that you're interested in. And I would say the formula so far is what I'm used to from Nomad. So if you have any palettes from Nomad and you like them, you're gonna like this palette too, because I haven't had any problems at all with like any of the shades in this. The only thing I will say is that the shimmers are like pretty basic shimmers. There aren't really any duochromes or anything like that in here, and none of them are like super sparkly or textured or anything like that. So if you just like the basic shimmer formula from Nomad, you're definitely gonna love this palette because it's very easy to work with. It performs well, and if that's what you're looking for, then this is definitely one that I think you will enjoy. So I'm gonna put on some glitter primer. This is literally all I'm gonna do for the mattes. I might do a little bit underneath my eye here with the green as well, but I also might not. I just wanna see what it looks like without that. And maybe I'll just do like some, me trying to find anything in front of me because everything is a mess. I might just do some like white, like stark white in my waterline just to see how that would look with it, just to make it even more sort of springy, summery. So I'm just taking my glitter primer. Where did I put the cap? Listen, you don't want to see my desk. I wouldn't show you my desk right now if you paid me. Okay, that's a lie, I would, but oh my god, I'm embarrassed. Honestly, I can't find anything in front of me. So I'm just taking my glitter primer basically all over my lid here. I have played around with spraying the shadows as well as using a glitter primer, and I definitely think that I just prefer using a glitter primer with most formulas, and the only time I would not do that is if I'm just like really lazy and I just don't feel like looking for it if I can't find it. So I'm taking a shade called Conch Republic, which I have used in one of my other looks as well, but it's a really pretty sort of, how would I explain this, like a yellow, like lemony yellow, but it's like on the pastel side, so it's not quite as bright, but it's really, really pretty, and I like it for the front portion of my lid. I definitely prefer lighter shades in the front, like I've said many times in the past. So you can see, very pretty. It looks really nice on the lid. It doesn't enhance texture. It's very smooth. It's easy to apply, and it just looks nice. So I'm gonna take probably the shade called Southernmost Point as well, which is this one, and I think it's just gonna layer nicely over the top of that green. I don't want to completely cover it up, but it honestly might cover up most of it. It does have a little bit of blue to it, this shade, but I think it's gonna look nice still. So I'm just gonna basically layer a little bit of that. I didn't really put any glitter primer on the outer corner of my lid because I just want this to be super subtle, but just to get like a little bit of a sheen, just to blend these two colors together. So I think that's really pretty. I like where this is going. I think, like I said, this is all I'm gonna do for the shadows. I know it's a little boring, but sometimes boring is okay. So let's go with this. I am gonna do some, let's see if I can find my white eyeliner in my waterline. here it is. So I'm gonna use this one from ColourPop because it's just the one that's in front of me. I hope that I was able to get out most of the black that I used yesterday, but we're gonna see. I think this should be fine. And I'm gonna be pretty heavy-handed with this. And I think because I'm wearing a white top as well, like this sort of makes sense. I know it's looking kind of crazy right now, but just wait until I get on like some lashes and mascara as well. So the look is done. I did put on some lashes. I did some mascara on my bottom, and I'm so sad about these lashes. They're probably on their last wear. They're literally falling apart, but I love them so much. And I went to buy new ones few days ago and they were out of stock, and it's on Unicorn Cosmetics website, and sometimes when they're out of stock they're discontinuing stuff, and they've discontinued the last two lashes that I've just absolutely loved, and I'm just like so sad. Like, stop discontinuing the lashes I love. Like, why are you doing this? It's not fair. Like, at least let us know in advance if you're gonna discontinue something so I can stock up, because I did not on the last two and now I'm like, God damn it. So upset about it. Anyway, this is the final look. I'm gonna show you the other two looks that I've done with this palette as well, and I guess I'll just like repeat myself and say that so far I really like this palette. I haven't had any issues working with it except for a little bit of creasing, which could be, you know, because of my new eyeshadow primer that I'm using. I can't really like pinpoint anything yet because I haven't been using this primer for that long, and I just want to make sure that you take anything that I say about this that's negative with a grain of salt, because I don't know. So just putting it out there, buy at your own risk, I guess. But I honestly think that if you have other Nomad palettes and you want this, you're gonna like this. It's a good palette. It's really fun to work with. It has a fun color story, and if you are a collector of Nomad, definitely don't want to miss out on this one because this is a really good palette. I do have a affiliated code with Nomad. It's just Annette, and it will save you 10% off your order on anything on their website. Let's see, is there anything else that I wanted to say? I think that's pretty much going to be it. So just like enjoy the looks when you're seeing them. I know they're pretty simple and nothing revolutionary, but sometimes, I guess I've been saying this a lot lately, but I've just been in a mood where I don't want to spend too long on my makeup. I just want to have a pretty look, a simple look, something I'm going to feel good in, something that I know is going to work. I don't want to have to like fuzz with stuff, and I just want to put on my makeup and like be done with it. So even though I like playing with makeup, sometimes I don't want to spend all day doing it. Does that make sense? Like, I enjoy it for the little time that I do it, but then I just want to be done. And I like the end result of like doing my makeup because it just makes me feel good the rest of the day. So I think that's pretty much going to sum up this video. So thank you so much for watching. As always, if you want to see some more Nomad content, I will put my playlist up on the screen. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.